On a quiet morning in an Ohio courtroom, a case that started as a simple sentencing hearing turned into one of the most explosive confrontations this judge had ever seen. A woman fighting for her freedom, fighting for her mental stability, and fighting for the custody of her own daughter would reach her breaking point. And when she looked the judge in the eyes and said, "You don't even know me. You're going by a piece of paper," the courtroom froze. This is the emotional and unbelievable story of State of Ohio versus Ashley Rude. Scene 1. Sentencing begins. 0:36 to 1:25. Ashley Rude, a 33-year-old mother, walked into court in handcuffs. Nervous, exhausted, desperate. She had already spent 86 days in jail. Today, the judge would decide whether she would walk out the door or leave in the back of a police cruiser. Her attorney asked for leniency. He said Ashley had mental health struggles, a childhood filled with trauma, and a lifelong connection to therapy. But the judge wasn't convinced. He wanted answers. Scene 2. The judge questions everything. 1:26 to 2:20. The judge leaned forward and asked, "What exactly is your mental health diagnosis?" Ashley replied softly, "CPTSD, complex PTSD." But the judge didn't stop there. He questioned her therapy history, her contact with the victim, her emotional outbursts with police, and even her behavior inside the jail. Every answer she gave, he pushed back harder. He read from the police report. The kicking, the screaming, the officers needing backup. Ashley tried to explain. She said she was assaulted. She said she froze. She said trauma triggered her panic. But the judge said one thing. Whatever you've done hasn't worked. Not one bit. Scene 3. Her relationship with Joyner. 2:21 to 3:05. Then came the question everyone wanted answered. Why was she still contacting the man she was accused of assaulting? Ashley hesitated, then revealed the truth. They had still been talking, still living together at times, still financially connected, and she insisted he pressured her to plead guilty so she could get out of jail. The judge asked again, "Why do you keep going back?" Ashley had no answer that could satisfy the court. Scene 4. The prosecutor speaks. 3:06 to 3:45. The prosecutor stepped forward and painted a very different picture. He described a chaotic scene on New Year's Eve. The door blocked, the violence unfolding inside, the daughter, only 6 at the time, standing in the apartment as police broke in. He explained how officers had to physically carry Ashley outside because she refused to walk. He said she was trying to contact Joyner even after the no-contact order. The judge listened silently, but he already knew this case wasn't simple. Scene 5. The first chance. 3:46 to 4:20. In spite of everything, the judge decided to take a chance on her. He gave Ashley community control, ordered mental health treatment, and demanded she break ties with Joyner. It could have been a turning point, a second chance, a moment to rebuild her life, and keep custody of her daughter. But then, everything collapsed. Scene 6. The violations. 4:21 to 5:15. Within weeks, probation officers reported 3 serious violations. Contact with the victim again, leaving the county without permission, a new arrest for assault. When Ashley returned to court, the judge asked her, "What seems to be the problem here?" She apologized, but then revealed something huge. She and Joyner had been in contact the entire time. She said she depended on him financially, emotionally, and she insisted she was often defending herself. But the judge had heard this before. For 17 years of her record. Scene 7. The judge loses patience. 5:16 to 6:05. The judge looked directly at her and said, "You do what you want when you want, no matter what probation says." Ashley insisted, "I've changed. I'm not a bad mom." But the judge fired back. "If your daughter was your priority, you wouldn't have been arrested in Cleveland." She began crying. She said she was trying, that she checked into shelters, that she was communicating with probation, but her words weren't enough. The judge had heard 18 years of the same cycle. Scene 8. One final offer. 6:06 to 6:55. Her attorney begged the court to let her stay in mental health court, to give her one more chance, to stabilize her life, and appear at her daughter's custody hearing. The judge thought carefully. Then he said, "You'll get one more opportunity." But it came with strict conditions, including finishing a full rehabilitation program and zero contact with Joyner. Ashley agreed until her frustration erupted. Scene 9, the explosion, 6:56 to 7:40. She stood up, her voice shaking with anger and fear, and she yelled, "You don't even know me as a person. You're going by a piece of paper. I could lose custody of my daughter." The courtroom went silent. The judge stared at her, not angry, not surprised, but disappointed. He simply said, "You bear no responsibility for anything you do." Ashley looked shattered. Her attorney tried to calm her down, but the judge had made his decision. Ending. 7:41 to 8:15 emotional outro. Ashley would remain on community control, serve additional jail time, and be forced into mandatory treatment. Her future, her freedom, and even the custody of her daughter now depended on whether she would finally break the cycle that had controlled her life for nearly 2 decades. Nobody knows if she'll succeed. Nobody knows if this was finally the wake-up call. But one thing is certain. In that Ohio courtroom, on that emotional day, everyone saw a woman fighting demons that a simple piece of paper could never truly explain.